Curt Hennig, but to you people, I'm Mr. Perfect. And I know a lot of you people sitting there right now wonder what it's like to go through life without making any mistakes. No blemishes, no flaws, from head to toe, absolutely perfect. Yes, being perfect, it has its boring times, like a simple game of billiards. Well, fool to you common people. Like I said,
Hey, Curt Hennig fans, hello, welcome to another episode of Nobody Beats Curt Hennig Nobody. I am your host, Mrs. Witchy Perfect. We are back again. Just as promised, we're going to finish the second half of the interview with Sean Mooney, who talks about Curt Hennig and his legacy and stuff. So we'll probably have to do maybe a part 3 because, again, you know, this it is like an hour and like 20 minutes or whatever. Excuse me. And but anyway, let's get right to it. Where am I at here? Over here. All right, here we go. Also our main event will be the Road Warriors versus Larry and Curt Hennig. That will be our main event, but like I said, I wanted to finish this. Like I said, this may go into a part 3 because this show is only an hour, and this is what it's an hour and 20 minutes, like I said. All right, here we go.
You know, kind of shine through for that character. So I think it was something that got people. It was different, and certainly raised the heat factor. I still, wonder why that Curt didn't get that opportunity though to really wear that strap. It never really happened, and I don't even know if there was a real discussion about it. But because I think that he certainly could stand toe to toe with someone like Hulk Hogan and have a good run.
Well, and here, this is why this will probably have a part 3. As everyone knows, or even I posted a comment to the person who did this interview, and they admitted that they heard about Hogan politicking backstage and screwing Curt out of the push that was given to him. According to Brett and Brett's book, he talks about getting Curt ready in '89 for Hogan. So, and Brett, he doesn't lie about stuff. I don't think he would go lying about this. So again, and we all know how, what Brett thinks of Hogan, what Brett thinks of this and that. I also saw a clip on X. Brett was talking about how he felt about Randy Savage, and oh my gosh, did he put Randy Savage over? He loved Randy Savage, even though he accidentally punched him right in the nose. It was an accident, and Randy knew that. And Randy said that he loved it too. So that was in Japan, when they were both in Japan. So, there are a few people, and Curt was one of them, that Brett talked very highly about and with respect. And, he always said he would love to wrestle Mr. Perfect again. So, with Spy versus Spy. So, when Brett talks about the fact that, they were actually going to give Curt a push, and then of course, Hogan politicked backstage, and the push didn't happen, and this is why that didn't happen. And not only did it happen in '89, but in 1999, when Curt and Hogan were both in WCW, I remember an interview where Curt talked about a blonde-haired guy saying, "I can't follow that brother." So for some reason, Hogan just seemed to have, like he was Curt's kryptonite or something. So, I mean, I feel for Curt, because that's hard to swallow. That's, when they say they're going to give you a push, and then, Hogan says, "No, we're not going to give up a push. He's not my league." No, he's beyond your league. He's perfect. He is way beyond you, Hogan. Hogan, yeah, you could sell tickets, and you have the, the training and the prayers. And we were talking about this last week, where, Hogan was stale by 1990, 1991. And like I said, the only thing that really revived him was the whole Slaughter and him feud. Slaughter Hogan feud. That's the only thing that made Hogan hot again was the Slaughter, because Slaughter was the most hated heel, receiving threats, of violence, which were not very good. But he was receiving them, and this is where we take it to in 1990 that Hogan was really not, he was growing stale by 1990. He wasn't even really the champion much of 1990. He was for a little bit there. He was in, this doesn't make any sense. He was in the 1990 Royal Rumble, which didn't make any sense because they were still trying to figure out what you win at the end of the Royal Rumble, right? I mean, it wasn't like in 91, they said, oh, well, Hogan won the Royal Rumble, so, he gets a championship at WrestleMania. And I think that's when that really took off and started for Hogan, or anyone who won the Royal Rumble would receive a title shot at WrestleMania. We saw Yokozuna do the same thing in 93 because they went away from that in 92. I don't know why. I guess Vince was kind of desperate that just make Ric Flair the champion, which screw Ric Flair. I don't like him. And he didn't deserve the belt. So I'm not saying Hogan deserved it. I'm not saying Yokozuna deserved it. I'm saying that the person who, won the Royal Rumble eventually would, get a title shot at WrestleMania. So it did make quite a lot of sense to me why, why Hogan would squash someone else's push. He was jealous. Hogan was jealous that Curt was better than him. And as someone said, job security. Hogan was afraid that he would lose his job. Well, again, 1990, he was already getting stale. People were tired of the training, the prayers, to say your vitamins, take your vitamins and say your prayers, whatever. They were tired of that. And rightfully so. He was getting stale. And like I said, the only reason why he got revived is literally because, because of the whole Slaughter thing. So, all right, more of this.
Well, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Perfect's on a list. Anytime anyone makes a top 10 list of wrestlers who never won the world title, Mr. Perfect is usually 1 or 2. $1 Million Man's up there as well.
Right.
I don't count him stealing it with double referee. Sorry, folks. But with Mr. Perfect, he's on that list. And with a rivalry with Hulk Hogan, though, in 1990, we are inching our way to WrestleMania 6 to have Hogan take on Warrior. So obviously there's no time for Perfect to get a championship and then flip it over. Yeah. So,
well, and unfortunately, Warrior was Vince's guy, unfortunately, because the Warrior could not wrestle. He was not a good wrestler. He was blown up within a couple of minutes. That's why he had a lot of squash matches, but he never really had a one-on-one like he had with Hogan at WrestleMania 6. And as everyone knows, of course, Curt was pushed right back down the card and almost forgotten about. By the time WrestleMania 6 came around, everyone, was cheering or gearing up for Hogan versus Warrior, which was in Vince's eyes a passing of the torch. I don't know if Hogan felt that way, but I don't even care what Warrior thought about it, what Jim Hellwig thought of it. But there comes a thing where, he was with a couple of tag matches, Warrior and Hogan. Were in some tag matches with Lanny and with Curt, but then it was forgotten. His whole feud with you can't do that. Hogan, I know Hulk Hogan, you can't do that. I mean, everyone remembers those vignettes. He used to have the golfing, the horseshoes, the ping pong, the swimming. They did that for a reason. They wanted to reinvent Mr. Perfect and put him into the prime time, and that's what happened. As Hogan was more fixed on Warrior and the whole thing, and Vince was more fixated with Warrior. The guy couldn't go. He couldn't go. He literally was blown up, and there's wrestlers that talk about they would step over him, because he literally would pass out after coming back from a match. So they had the Warrior thing, and then of course they had Rick Rude, who worked with Warrior. He had a steel cage match at SummerSlam 1990. This is where I would see Mr. Perfect again, still in the Intercontinental scene, and again Hogan politicked his way to have Curt push back down the card. And again, what I meant to say is at WrestleMania 6, they pushed Mr. Perfect back down the card and took his perfect streak from him. Well, Warrior had done that at it was a video Coliseum taping, but the real televised version of Curt losing his perfect streak was literally against Bruce Barber Beefcake at WrestleMania 6. And what a horrible time for Curt. I felt so bad for him. Now, eventually he would get the Intercontinental belt, and by SummerSlam, he'd lose it to Kerry. But there comes a time in one's life when you literally have to, look back and say, this was a real tragedy. Because Curt was a great performer. He still, he could go more than the Warrior could, even though he had a more athletic build. Now, I say Curt was more muscular, but he had more brains than the Warrior, okay? Jim wasn't very good in the ring. He was, green as a pepper tree, as Jim Cornette would say. But yet that was Vince's guy. So that's one of the many reasons of, other than Hogan politicking, and he did the same thing with Bret. Oh, Bret's not in my league, blah, blah, blah. Bret talked about a push that they never gave him. Then finally they gave it to him, but it was at the expense of Mr. Perfect, right? Because Curt he had hurt his back. So there's a lot of things that you could say about this whole him not getting a title shot run when he should have been WWF champion several times.
But before we jump into why Curt was never a world champion, the rumor, as long as I can remember, was the Smash WWF Championship was actually the WWF Hardcore Championship that Mankind was handed over to in 1998 by Vince McMahon because it was all smashed up, it was duct taped, and it had hard.
Right, no. Actually, and I don't know if I talked about this last week, but they're actually, if you look it up on YouTube, I don't remember the video title or what it's called, but there is a gentleman, and I don't remember his name because it's been a while since I actually looked this up, but there is a video there. A gentleman does own the belt that Curt destroyed. It is not the hardcore belt. That was a separate belt specifically made for the hardcore champion or whoever it was. But no, there's a guy who literally on YouTube, and this is before the, AI age, or, the AI videos that you see out there. There is a gentleman that does own that belt that Curt destroyed. So if you want to look that up, you might want to look it up on Google first, and then they'll probably point you to that video on YouTube. but yeah, like that guy talks about, I have the belt, and he shows the belt, and it's all messed up and stuff. I mean, that was ruined for a reason. They were going to give Hogan another belt anyway. So that he could give to the Warrior. And Warrior had his own, I think he had his own belt made. I'm not really sure. So, yeah, I think Slaughter talked about that, that it was a purple belt or something. So, like, every champion almost got to, like, say what kind of belt they wanted, right? But anyway, that's the short story is that is just the rumor. There actually is a guy who owns that belt. So, again, you'll have to do the research and look it up. Probably Google it first, and then you should be able to find it.
Core. I believe that rumor up until I heard Bruce Pritchard kind of say, I don't think that's true. What were your thoughts when you years later would abruptly see Attitude Era things and you're seeing like, is that the world title that Perfect smashed?
No.
Yeah. That I feel the same way. Because it was, well, there was a separation of time there, but you're wondering, like, was it in back somewhere?
No, I mean, and like I said, if you do a little bit of research, because I thought the same thing too, and what I did is I did a little research and Googled it, and that's where I came up with the YouTube video of this, I guess, a rich guy. I don't know if a poor guy would have enough money for a belt that Mr. Perfect smashed back in the 89. But anyway, this guy, I'm guessing, is a collector of wrestle memorabilia, and he actually shows you the title that Mr. Perfect smashed. So that rumor is just a rumor, and it's not a true rumor. it is false.
Pull this thing out again. Yeah. So that's and Bruce is the source. I mean, really, he was there, and so I got to go along with that. But it did make you wonder.
Yeah,
that they didn't want to waste the belt or something. Those things are expensive. I don't know.
Don't get another one. Just buy one and smash a new one.
No, well, that's what they did. That's why they let Curt break the belt. I mean, that's the whole coup de grace of this is Mr. Perfect was allowed to smash the belt because Hogan was going to get another one anyway, and Warrior had a purple one. So I mean, in the long run, and like I said, just do a Google search. You can probably find the guy's name and everything who owns the belt that Mr. Perfect busted up. But yeah, that was the rumor, and the rumor is false. So, so there's some guy who owns the belt that Mr. Perfect smashed up. It was not the same belt as the hardcore belt. So
yeah, but that and people, that would be a really interesting conversation to have with some of these people that are the aficionados of these championship belts and these collectors. That
I did my research, and the collector has it.
If that was true, imagine the lore of that belt. I think it in its condition, whatever, it would be worth even more.
Oh yeah,
if that was attached to it. So
I wonder.
It's an interesting take on it. But
it was bizarre because also you could think that like, oh, you're kind.
I don't remember the guy's name, and it's funny that he says that because. Like I said, I did the research. All you have to do is look it up. I'm sure you will find it. Look for Mr. Perfect's demolished belt or something. You'll find it. Trust me. If you do like a 2-second Google search, you'll find the guy's name who actually owns that belt. So.
In the Attitude Era, you're saying like death to the winged championship. We have a new world title, Steve Austin. So we're kind of burying the old by giving Mankind a fake hardcore title with the winged eagle title. Yeah. So it's kind of like a slap in the face to the past, but also like, hey, let's create some lore here because this is as long as I can remember thinking like, oh, why? Because Mr. Perfect smashes one here. 8 years later, it's smashed. It is the same title, but I guess, we'll have to clarify it's not the hardcore championship, but Mr. Perfect smashing it. It's never been done before. We still haven't seen that up until today where someone takes someone else's championship. We've seen people throw them over bridges and, try to blow them up and set them on fire, but we have never seen someone smash them. And it really, I think, established Mr. Perfect as a player because no one one-ups Hogan. Usually
that's right. The gall.
It's a big dude like Earthquake, smushing you in the Brother Love show. Oh, there's Brother Love right there. Or Andre, ripping the necklace off him. Like there's just much more here to Mr. Perfect.
Sacrilege, I think we can call it.
But I just want to say congratulations to Genius for beating Hulk Hogan. Mr. Perfect didn't do it, but the Genius did. So
that's right.
W
call him there. By
count out. And really that was a lot of people didn't like that match, and for reasons unbeknownst to me, you'll have to ask Hogan. I guess he just wanted. The thing is, Lanny didn't beat him clean. He didn't beat him in the middle of the ring 1, 2, 3. So you can't really call that a win over, Hogan cleanly, right? It was a count out at best, and it should have been Curt cleanly winning and pinning Hogan to become the champion, but of course that didn't happen. So, all right, we're gonna move on.
Well, with Mr. Perfect and Genius, they had a nice little run there. But as time would go on, Mr. Perfect heads into WrestleMania 6, 1990, Sky Dome, Hogan vs. Warrior is the main event, huge night. But Mr. Perfect is undefeated heading into this, and Mr. Perfect has a rivalry with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Beefcake cut the Genius's hair at the Royal Rumble.
Actually, that's a myth because if you go back in history now, this is the first televised loss Curt had. But if you actually go back, it was a taping of Coliseum Video where the Warrior beats Curt and he loses his streak. So just a little trivia there for you.
And Perfect attacked him, and we are off to the races.
Yeah.
But Beefcake beats Perfect's undefeated streak.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know, Beefcake's a friend of Hulk Hogan's. Do you believe that Hogan said, you know what we should do? We should beat Mr. Perfect, and it should be Beefcake, because Hogan's not going to do it because he's off with Warrior. After that, he comes back and fights Earthquake. So do you think Hogan got involved here and was like, hey, my buddy should beat him?
I don't know what happened there, and I really hate to think what happened, but my best guess is, hey, if I don't have time to beat Perfect, because I'm so high up and I'm so high and mighty, I'm Hulk Hogan, I want to be with the Warrior, who he's going to pass the torch, so to speak, to Warrior. And like I said, Hogan was getting stale by this point. People were tired of the training and the prayers and the, taking the vitamins, and they were sick of Hulk Hogan. They really were. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just stating facts here. So trigger warning for those who like Hulk Hogan. Sorry, I just didn't. I was not a Hulkamaniac. I was not a little Warrior either. I was a Mr. Perfect fan through and through. When I was 4 years old, 1990, I saw Mr. Perfect and became a Mr. Perfect fan. So I'd like to believe that, I don't know what happened there. All I know is that, Curt was pushed back down the card and had to suffer a loss to Beefcake. And it probably Hogan had something to do with it, no doubt, because again, Brutus is Hogan's friend, or was his friend. And they hung out a lot together. So all I'm saying is I'm sure Hogan had something to do with it. But the fact that he actually lost to Brutus when, there was no belt up at stake, at stake here. So I'm not really sure what that was all about, but I'm sure Hogan had something to do with it, because Hogan thought he was all that in a bag of chips. And literally he was getting stale by this point. Like I said, he dropped the belt to Warrior and then went on to have a feud with Earthquake. And, the whole Tugboat and him were friends for a little while. Then they turned him and they made him Typhoon. So I don't know. All I know is that I'm pretty sure that by this time in 1990, they were getting tired of Hogan. Okay. They were more for Warrior, but they were less interested in Hogan at the time. And again, the only thing that revived Hogan was the whole Slaughter feud. So
I think in most cases, and I've had many conversations with Brutus and over the years, and I think he credits a lot of his success in the WWE to his good friend. Fortunately, they didn't. They had a major falling out, and I don't think that ever really got mended. But I think at the time, I think that probably had something to do with it. I also, I can't help but wonder, what was, Curt in the doghouse for something like that, or for a little punishment. I don't know, but it shocked a lot of people. I don't think anybody thought that was going to happen. But
no, I think what happened was Hogan pulled rank. He thought he was the, all the bag of chips, and he thought he was better than everybody. And again, this goes back to jealousy. This also goes back to the fact that Hogan wanted job security. So again, he was getting stale in 1990, and he literally thought, he was in Vince's ear, and he told Vince that Curt and Brett were not in Hogan's league. So, and that's why they always kind of made fun of, or poked fun of, not made fun of, but poked fun of Bret Hart. Yeah.
That was another thing they loved to do too, Steve, is that they would like to do the unexpected. That you would, once in a while, just be able just to throw you off kilter, because everybody would, you would think you'd follow what you'd expect storyline. Of course, if Mr. Perfect's going to go in there and he's this arrogant and he's undefeated, and you're going to let someone like Brutus the Barber Beefcake beat him, And I think they like to do that once in a while. And also it had something to do. Maybe they had some plans down the road, but maybe they for Brutus and Curt to do something or bring the connection of Hulk into it. I don't know, but that one was tough to swallow. I think a lot of people were like, "Really? Come on, what happened here?" And they like, we're still talking about it. Mm-hmm. So I think that in most cases, whatever Brutus was involved in, the Hulkster had a say in it and helped push him. But that wasn't unusual across the board. It's just where you fell on the card. Randy had a lot of influence too. So Lanny got a lot of opportunities to do things that, and we've talked before. Lanny was good in the ring. I mean, I think he was a popo. They came up, but he wasn't that. For whatever reason, didn't have that marquee, that charisma that was going to put him at a higher level. And it always helped to have a brother who was in that position. So that wasn't crazy to think that the Hulkster wouldn't have had some influence. He had a lot of influence on what happened in the company.
I'm glad you said that, because my first evidence here for people who don't believe me with that question is we go back to the Royal Rumble in 1990. Mm-hmm. The rumor is that Mr. Perfect's supposed to win this Royal Rumble. Hulk Hogan, though, Hogan must pose. So Hogan is the one who ends up winning the 1990.
Yeah, because he was already the champion. Why did Hogan have to be in the Royal Rumble? He was already WWF champion at that time. So it made no sense for Hogan to be in there, especially because he was already over, but he was getting stale. So Hogan, not wanting to lose job security, literally said, well, that doesn't work for me, brother. I want to be the center of attention, even though people were sick of Hogan by then.
Royal Rumble instead, tossing out Perfect, which then leads to Perfect losing to Beefcake, which is Hogan's friend. So in reality, is the idea that fans wanted Perfect to win the Royal Rumble and not Hulk Hogan? Or is this just people looking too deep into things because the Royal Rumble isn't something like where you get a championship match. Hogan's the world champion. No. We're in the height of Hulk Hogan. We're in the Hulk.
I don't think, again, we're not in the height of Hulk Hogan. The height of Hulk Hogan was in the 80s. By 89 and 1990, Hogan was getting stale. That's why at WrestleMania 4, or before WrestleMania 4, Hogan lost the belt and he would actually go off to Hollywood and make a movie. So by then he was really, really stale anyway. So, and then when he came back, he beat Macho Man because it was time to turn the Macho Man and Hogan, because that made a great storyline. And I mean, Randy being who Randy is, and that second generation, and a very good wrestler, Lanny was I'm trying to be fair to the genius, okay? I'm trying to be fair to Lanny, wherever Lanny is. I'm trying to be fair. He was an okay wrestler, but it more or less, Vince asked him to push that gay button. So, because back then you could kind of still make fun of them, even though Lanny was heterosexual, so there was no button to push. But I mean, when Hogan kind of like mocks Lanny in those matches that he had with him, you could tell that Vince kind of said, well, fly off the handle, make it as promiscuous as you can, that that he was a heterosexual man, but he didn't act like one, right? And the way he would look at Curt, like, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, Lanny, stop that. Like, he had stars in his eyes, he's like that teenager, the 12-year-old teenage girl or something, who just saw Mr. Perfect as like this cool thing, or like a rock star almost. So, it was to push that button and to get people to hate Lanny because he seemed like he was not heterosexual, right? even though he would go on like Regis and Kathy Lee with Curt and say, I'm a very heterosexual man. Right. Okay.
You know, like, it's stupid to think anyone else would win besides Hogan at this point in time.
Yeah, but like you said, it wasn't like there's so much on the line in something like that. But it's a great opportunity to put one of your people over. And Curt, I don't remember what he entered in. I think he was in there for a long time, wasn't there? Was I can't remember. He was number.
He in '89, Curt was in for over 20 minutes, and of course, Hogan was the one who threw him out. So, every Royal Rumble, it seemed like Hogan wanted to make the emphasis that he threw out Mr. Perfect. Excuse me. I think he was later. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. He was number 4 in the '89 Rumble, and I think he was up in the upper teens in 1990. I may have this backwards, but in Royal Rumble 91, I think he was number 30. I think Mr. Perfect was number 30. So I'm not sure. I might have that wrong, but I think he was in the upper teens because, again, Hogan would throw him out and have that face-to-face with Warrior and try to sell WrestleMania 6, which is Warrior versus Hogan. I am going to take a 5-minute break, and I will be back with you guys in 5 minutes. All right. See you on the flip side. All right, and we're back. So we're going to watch a little bit more of this, and like I said, there'll have to be a round 3 or a part 3. So here we go.
Honestly,
Entered number 30.
Number 30, yeah.
Oh, okay, so it was later.
Yeah, 91 he does that.
But it was an opportunity, I think, to put him over more, and for whatever reason,
it didn't work.
The Hulkster has to win it. I don't know if he squats that idea because originally they were going to put Curt over. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what it came down to with that.
I do. It was professional jealousy, like we were saying.
You can rest assured that the Hulk would have had to sign off on it for it to happen. So to say that he didn't have influence and it was all a Vince decision, I doubt it.
Well, it's crazy because they do have the face-to-face with Warrior and Hogan in the match. And then Warrior, he's out. He gets tossed out of the Royal Rumble. And then Hogan could have probably done the same thing. We could have just kept equal footing. And I'm just thinking politics-wise, Hulk Hogan's like, well, if I'm going to lose at WrestleMania, I'm winning here, folks, because I'm going to go in super strong. And so when this me spitballing that, I'm thinking Hogan's going to win because it's Hogan's time. It's Hogan's era. He can say whatever he wants. And Vince is like, let's do it. And so I can imagine that happening here. So that's my exhibit A here with Hogan.
Yeah, and you see that all the time. I think that was, kind of a rot disease with, like WCW. You had a few guys at the top there and they just kept, putting themselves over. And that can hurt you. And I think in some cases like this, that, having so much influence in a company can hurt as far as getting other people established. And I don't think it's good for business. And you got to spread the wealth. But even at this point in time, I know that, Vince is looking, we've got to spread this out. He keeps trying to find people that are going to be able to carry the load and keep, these arenas with people in the seats. And they're running a lot of shows and Hulk can't be everywhere. And, so I think that, as far as the business sense here, you got to be careful when somebody has that much influence, but at the same time, you can't piss them off either. So I think it was kind of a fine line that Vince had to walk, as you had to keep the guy in the yellow tights happy, and at the same time try and grow the roster where you've got more guys that can appear at the top of the card. So it was it was a dance, I think, for him.
You make a really good point.
Try and keep everybody happy.
That's I never even thought of that way, because Hogan, you have Warrior being the next guy coming up. All right, Warrior's going to beat Hogan at WrestleMania 6.
Right, but remember, they're not sure of him either.
Yes,
at the time too.
yes.
You know, like, and so.
And then they tried it with Savage a year ago, but they had to have Hogan next to him. Every time Hogan would walk away to go do a movie or something, business would dip. So then Vince would call Hogan, hey, we got to call you, come back. Business goes up. So in reality, Hogan's a very smart man. Let's keep everyone down here, and I stay up here. Every time I leave, these people try to level up, but they can't. So you call me back, and I get more money, and I get more opportunities. Yeah. Very smart business plan for him.
It would. A step away, you know. How can I miss you if you're still here? So yeah, it worked out great, and did for a while. I mean, those years there, they, you know,
on fire.
Terry knew it. Terry knew their phone's gonna ring. You know, he just knew it. And I can go do whatever I want to do. And if it works out, tremendous. That's awesome. But if it doesn't, I mean, this is always here. They're gonna need me. And then I can carve out a time where I go back, and then I got other things going on here, and they need me even more. And how many times he came back
over and over, and
what he had to do, you know. So it was a great business plan for quite a while.
Yeah, it worked out for him. But, you know, Mr. Perfect does not win the 1990 Royal Rumble. He loses an undefeated streak at WrestleMania 6. But also at that event, Warrior becomes world champion. That means he has to give up the Intercontinental title, because it wasn't title for some strange reason. But Warrior then relinquishes it. They have a tournament. Mr. Perfect wins the tournament to become the Intercontinental champion, pinning Tito Santana in the finals. Now, why the hell do you have Perfect lose his undefeated streak to Beefcake to let him then win a tournament to become Intercontinental champion?
Well, all you could say was that was some kind of make good. I don't know that, we're going to give Brutus the win.
Yeah, but then they kept. So at WrestleMania, when Warrior gives up the IC belt and Mr. Perfect gets it, well, he keeps it till SummerSlam, and then they went, let's give Kerry Von Erich the title. When he only just came in, he was not green or anything, but he was new to the WWE or WWF at the time, and they gave Kerry the belt. So I think this was just, I don't think they were making good by Curt, because if they were making good by Curt, they would have given him the belt to start with. So not the IC belt, but the heavyweight belt.
And hope everybody forgets it soon, which didn't happen. But, did anybody doubt that Curt wasn't, didn't deserve to have a belt on him? No, he made a great Intercontinental champion.
One of the best. And
so him doing that, there was no question. People were like, well, give it to him, so I think that turned out really to be a blip in a sense in his career. Because at least at that time, that it was just kind of one of those things. Yeah, it happened, but could you 5 out of 5 times is how many times is Brutus going to go over? It's not going to happen. So he got it. He got the W, just like Lanny with the Hulkster.
Don't disparage. Don't disparage.
Put that in. Put it in the bank.
Put it up there.
But yeah, I don't think him dropping that match to Brutus hurt his stature as far as how he was put on a card and the stature that he would be, as far as did he deserve to be an Intercontinental champion.
Well, it's more even crazier. Exhibit B here, while I feel like Hulk Hogan's involved with this Beefcake Perfect situation, is because SummerSlam 1990, it's supposed to be Mr. Perfect defending the Intercontinental Championship against Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He's supposed to win, but he gets in a parasailing accident, which then replaces Beefcake with Texas Tornado. Texas Tornado beats Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam 1990 for the Intercontinental Championship. So you're telling me maybe that it was all a plan to have Beefcake beat Perfect, to have Perfect get the Intercontinental title, for Beefcake then to beat Perfect. Is that what we're all waiting for?
So you think that, maybe, but I think we're getting, way too like we're psychics here as far as them planning. And you know,
you don't have to be psychic, and I'm going to stop it here, guys, because we need to move on to our main event. So there will be a part 3, probably a part 4 as well, because again, there's still a couple of more to that. So, and this is my take on this. What I think they probably wanted to do was Beefcake versus Perfect. Now, was Beefcake going to go over? I don't know. I hope not, because what they did with Kerry, even they gave Curt the belt after WrestleMania 6, and then only for him to lose it at SummerSlam, which made no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, eventually he would get it back with the help of the $1 Million Man, but why couldn't he defend his title the first time on a pay-per-view and actually win? That's what they do now. That's it makes so you're not a paper champion, you know. It just kind of like they were saying, well, Curt's a paper champion, even though he would get the belt back later from the Texas Tornado. And I'm not taking I'm taking nothing away from Kerry Von Erich. Kerry Von Erich was a great wrestler. He wasn't perfect, but he was a great wrestler. We love you, Kerry. Anyway, I fail to see exactly why they gave it to Kerry at SummerSlam 1990, other than I would become a Mr. Perfect fan at SummerSlam 1990. So that's where my loyalty lies, because I wanted to be just like Mr. Perfect, the female version, of course. All right, so let's get to our main event, which is the Road Warriors versus Larry and Curt Hennig. I will take a 5-minute break and get that up for you. So I'll see you on the flip side. All right, we are back. All right, so we are ready for our main event. This is the Road Warriors versus Larry and Curt Hennig. Here we go. Now remember, this is the 80s, so the quality is not so good. All right, Curt.
One of the all-time greats in professional wrestling, weighing 322 pounds, Larry the Axe Hennig. The Hennigs. Their opponent from Chicago, Illinois, with a combined weight of 565 pounds. The AWA World Tag Team Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Legion of Doom, the Animal, the Hawk, the Road Warriors. And in their corner, their manager, Precious Paul Ellery. There are the belts, your referee, Jim Mitchell, and here's Ken.
Well, these two teams have met before. The Hennig, the Road Warriors, a while back on national television. And believe you me, the Hennigs came within inches. In fact, a lot of people felt, had it not been for the interference from outside the ring, that Curt and Larry would indeed be tag team champions. And this one shapes up to be some kind of battle. And Doug McLeod, it's been some kind of night so far.
Why don't you take a rest for a minute? You came off as bad as everybody else in that one. And I tell you, when the action gets going here, nobody is necessarily removed from it. It's happened.
Yeah, even after being hit with a chair, Vern Gagne has got quite a punch. Talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Look at that. The two big men come to an absolute dead stop as they collide in the center of the ring. Larry the Axe Hennig and the Animal. The Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom. This has gone far enough that I don't think the Hennigs care one way or the other about the belts anymore. They, of course, would love to have them, and of course they care. But this has got to be a blood feud with the Road Warriors.
There is. And Curt and Larry feel, and the Road Warriors, that they've got something to prove. I think the Road Warriors, Doug, were embarrassed last time out at just the kind of beating the Hennigs gave them.
That was a dandy, too. Here's the tag, and the Hawk will come in. And he'll take a long look at Larry the Axe Hennig. And the crowd gets the rhythm going to back their favorites, the Hennigs. Now they lock up. Look at this. The big squeeze from that'll get your attention. The Hawk grabbing the hair now. Just rakes his fingers across the face of Larry the Axe Hennig. There you see him hammering away at Hennig. You can't quite see, kind of a reverse headlock here. Larry the Axe Hennig, boy, he's hard to get down, and once you get him down, you better not turn your back on him. The awesome power of the Road Warriors. Who will stop the Legion of Doom? I don't know. The Hennigs feel, and I think rightly so, they've done it. But, as you well know, it didn't result in the belt. Oh, and a tremendous elbow smash by the Axe. And he'll just stand there and wait. Now, walking carefully, closely up to the Hawk. Turns that wrist back. Two big, muscular, powerful men. Larry the Axe Hennig really applying that pressure now, and you can see there a real battle of strength. And the Axe. Look at this. What a test of strength. Hawk and Larry the Axe Hennig. Whoa, right into the Hennig's corner in a collision there with Curt Hennig. The tag made, Curt comes in and he goes to work on the Hawk. The animal leaning over. See if there could possibly be a tag, and of course, you always have to watch out for precious Paul Ellering standing at the side of the ring in his kimono with that rolled up Wall Street Journal. He'll take a cheap shot if he can. Curt Hennig in trouble now. A big smash by the animal. You heard precious Paul. And he got out of the elbow smash. Curt Hennig escaped the elbow smash of the animal. Side to side. Oh, what a smash. Ducking under, animal off the ropes. Curt Hennig up and over. Bang! Drop kicking the animal down. Right back up again. Arm drag takedown. Back goes Curt Hennig. Tries to get hold of the animal somehow. Okay, Doug. Curt and Larry Hennig picking up right where they left off again, proving they can give the Road Warriors all they want and then some. They don't have to take anything to get up for this one, I'll tell you. These two want the Road Warriors, and they want them so bad they can hardly breathe. They get so excited talking about it. Now they break. There was the tag. Here's the Hawk. A little conference now over in the Hennigs corner. And Curt comes back out. Look at the way they eye each other. Curt Hennig and the Hawk. Battle jam-packed to the St. Paul Civic Center. Those of you watching home on television, we're glad you're here. A battle for the AWA Tag Team Championship of the World. Of course, everybody's still buzzing about what happened at the end of this match just completed with the Gagnes, Bockwinkel, and Saito. Now a big miss for the Hawk and a flying leap by Curt Hennig. Didn't get the count off of their flying drop kick by Hennig. And again. Oh, and a big smash out of the Hawk. Whoops. Look at that. Got to get the sunset flip. Oh, and he's just smashed out of it. And now, you see those big motorcycle type boots that the Road Warriors wear, and Ken, they do some stomping with those, and brother, they're stomping. I'll tell you what, Doug, a lot of people don't realize it, but I have looked. Those are steel cold boots. No. As if they even needed them. The tag, the animal comes in now. Larry the Axe Hennig is one making all the stomping on the other side. The crowd gets going. Curt Hennig trying to punch his way away from the animal. The Road Warriors motto, of course, is we don't care. They don't like anybody. All they like is fight. Oh! Here comes the Axe. Curt Hennig now in the corner of the Legion of Doom. The tag made and the Hawk on. The Axe couldn't get anything going there. Oh, look at this. The tremendous strength of the Hawk with a choke lifting Curt Hennig and then dropping him bodily down to the canvas. Up by the hair. Oh, no. They're going to get him in the rope. Tied up. Hennig better get out of there in a hurry if he can. The Road Warriors have had him in the ropes before. Smashed by the Hawk. And Curt Hennig comes steaming back. Look at this. And Hennig had taken some punishment, folks, I want you to know. But then across the eyes, Hennig can't find the right corner. He's in a neutral corner. Right down the center of the ring, and the Hawk jumps into the animal on the other side of the ring, yells, squeeze. They're not content to hurt you if they can hurt you worse. They're not content to hurt you worse if they can maim you. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care who they put out of wrestling.
You can give up, Hennig. You can quit. You can give up.
Precious Paul Ellering yelling, you can quit, Hennig.
You can see the arm pointing at Curt Hennig.
Here comes the axe. Look at Curt. Oh, Curt took a little swipe at Precious Paul Ellering. Opened his mouth once too often. Curt Hennig off the rope. Here's the Hawk. Oh! Oh! What an elbow. Curt tried to get over to the outstretched arm of his father, Larry the Axe Hennig. Will he make it? No, the tag made. Reverse chin lock down. Here's the animal. Jim Mitchell, the referee, asking, what do you say? Oh, Curt says no. Brother, look at this. The animal is almost like he's doing jerks there, using the head of Curt Hennig as the weight. First, the Warriors spent every spare moment in the gym. Tremendous strength. Curt got to his feet, but how do you break out of that hole?
That's one way.
That's one way. Enough said. Now here's Larry the Axe. Everybody in the ring now. The animal and Curt still there. Now the Hawk working on Curt Hennig, and Larry the Axe tossed out by the referee. Look at this. Oh, the Hawk. Oh, it didn't work. It didn't work. Look at this. Oh, the Curt. Oh, almost got those shoulders over, but the momentum carried him over too far. That was a great move, Ken.
Oh, tremendous move, Doug. Hawk just had him up in here a little too far backwards. Curt Benson came right down.
Curt Hennig and the Hawk.
Tried to go into that victory roll, but his momentum carried him just a little too far.
Oh, no. Almost sent Curt Hennig over the ropes that time. Hennig again in the neutral corner. Now both the Road Warriors are in. Here's the animal. Larry the Axe trying to break it up. Referee Jim Mitchell won't let him do it. Now they turn the corners and look at that. Hennig turned it around. Now can he get to a corner in time? The animal hurt as he went slamming into the turnbuckles. The crowd yelling encouragement to Curt Hennig. Oh, there's that patented move of the Road Warriors. The clothesline, cover of two. Larry the Axe. Then they've taken an ambush, whack at the animal. Holy smoke. Uh-oh, the Hawk off the turnbuckle with a tremendous blast. Can Curt Hennig get to the corner? The Hawk jumps him again. Precious Paul Ellering, you see on the right of your screen, you saw for a moment with some extra words of coaching to the animal. Look at the Hawk here, riding the chin lock. Increasing the pressure. Mitchell, the referee, asking Hennig if he'll yield. Larry the Axe and Curt have both said many times, Ken, the only way they'll yield is if you have to bring stretchers in them, drag them out. They'll never quit.
Well, I'll tell you, the blood relationship between Larry and Curt has always been very, very close. And I think, in my opinion, that gives them just a little extra incentive in this one.
Here's the tag. Look at this. The Hawk made the tag, but then ambushed Curt Hennig. Larry the Axe pushes off the animal. Here's the animal now. Oh, just punishing Curt Hennig. Cook comes back with a blast of his own. Ah! Smash to the deck. A tremendous smash. Oh, look at that. That didn't do Curt any good, but it sure did break up the animal. Now Curt, if he can walk, where's the right corner? Curt Hennig, there's the tag, and here comes the Axe. Oh, Larry, the Axe Hennig. 322 pounds of bearded fury. The going to work on the Road Warriors. Animal off the rope. Oh, and he got him on a tremendous clothesline. A elbow smash. Here's a tag. Here's Curt off the top rope. Front kick off the rope. Down goes the Animal, recovered by Curt Hennig. He got a one count at precious. Paul Ellering now interferes.
Come on. How many times have we seen that, Doug? Ellering from outside of the ring.
What are you going to do if you're the ref? You got to keep an eye on so much.
Now, Ellering is still up in that ring apron.
He's got to get off that apron. Oh, and Larry the Axe calls Ellering in. Meanwhile, the Hawk and the Animal working on Curt. And look at Larry the Axe beating up on
Well, now, wait a minute.
Paul
The
Ellering.
referee is over here giving instructions. I don't know what he said.
I think they're going to stop the match. They're going to stop the match.
Disqualification, no doubt.
Stop. It's over.
Hmm.
Here comes precious Paul Ellering.
You won the battle, but not the war.
I don't know where to wait for the official decision. The ruling is, ladies and gentlemen, referee Marty Miller has disqualified the Hennigs for pulling a man, precious Paul Ellering, into the ring. They rule the winners of the match, the Road Warriors. Oh, it's the winners. Incredible. The winners and still tag team champions of the world, the Road Warriors.
Yeah, the Road Warriors. And they cheated. All right. We're going to stop sharing there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, this is a little less than an hour, but that's okay. I wanted to tell everybody that the Shameless Plugs is coming up next. Now, it looks like the website that I was using to make AI songs is back in session. So if you want that, I will try to make that a link. They've changed some things around, so I'm going to have to get used to it again. But anyway, if you want to make your own AI song, because the outro song is AI generated. If you guys want to make your own, it is aimusic.so. So aimusic.so is the link that you need to go to make your own AI. Okay. Well, we'll see you back here next week. We are going to have part 3 of the Sean Mooney interview about Curt Hennig and Mr. Perfect. So there'll probably be a part 3 and a part 4, depending on how long it takes to get through that interview. But I think it's a great one. And of course, I'm going to stop it and put my 2 cents into it, and also put in a little history, because those are the facts as I know them. Okay. So anyway, we'll see you back here next week for another episode of Nobody Beats Curt Hennig. Nobody. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody. Bye, guys.
Hey, Curt Hennig fans. Hello, and welcome to the Shameless Plugs. I wanted to do an updated version because I no longer have Patreon. I don't know if anyone has seen, and down in the description field, the first shameless plug I would like to do is for my Cash App and my PayPal account. If you can donate, please, please, please donate today. I actually had one donation, but that was more for my birthday. So anyway, if you can donate, please see the links in the description field for my PayPal and my Cash App. I'd like to start off by saying also, and I will say this at the end, I have an AI outro that is AI generated. I actually made a country song dedicated to Curt. I made several. Just in case, there also maybe in the future or right now is going to be an AI intro. So I just want to let you know that the intro also could be AI, and this is for Amazon. This is for YouTube only. YouTube only. So the first shameless plug I would like to do is Kit Cabello. He is one of my great, great friends. I love him to death. And what a great man, great guy, all around great friend as well. You can catch him on Heartlands Media. That's 9 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday. And he will tell it like it is. Trust me, he will tell it like it is. Can't say enough great things about Kit Cabello. Also, check out Angel Riviera. He is in Angel in the Afternoon, and of course, he is my host for Pro Wrestling Talk. Pro Wrestling Talk is every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though those are scheduled to change due to family issues or WrestleMania or a pay-per-view. Also, I would like you to, but definitely check out Angel in the Afternoon. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he also tells it like it is. Way to go, Angel. Okay, on to deconstructing topics. My big brother, Dave. I can't say enough great things about Dave. He is a big supporter of mine, and I'm a big supporter of him. If you check out Deconstructing Topics, he has his own show. I'm not sure what episode he's on right now, but he has a great podcast. Please, please, please listen to it. You can check it out on YouTube. I don't know if he's on Rumble, but I'll see if I can get a Rumble link. All these links are in the description field if you want to check these people out. Also, I'd like to mention my little kid brother, Alex Knight. We are actually not really related, but I see him like a little brother. So anyway, Alex Knight, you can find him on Angel in the Afternoon. You can also catch him on Pro Wrestling Talk. And I think he's going to do a baseball podcast with Angel as well. So check that out. That'll be on Sundays. I'm not sure the time. I'll have to get that from Angel later. But I just want to make sure that you check him out because he is a great person and someone I can call friend and little brother. The next shameless plug I'd like to do really fast is Black Magic Talk is my other show, guys. If you would like to check that out, all you have to do is click the link in the description field, and blessed be to you if you are also a witch, wizard, or warlock, or whatever you call yourself. You can check that out in the description field. We have a lot of fun over there. I love to have on special guests, especially Sonia Smith. She's a very dear friend of mine. I hope you will subscribe to all these people on YouTube or on Rumble. We are also on Rumble. The Rumble description field, the link is in the description field. Sorry. If you would like to check that out, this will be going on YouTube, of course, because I don't need this for Rumble. I could put it on Rumble. I think I might. So if you are on Rumble watching this and you would like to see the YouTube version of this, it's mostly audio that you will see, except for this part, right? Just check us out on YouTube. The link is in the description field. And again, if you want to check out Black Magic Talk, you can check that out too, where we talk everything pagan and Wiccan. There is no evil or black magic, of course. It's all great fun, and we have a good time. If you like a personal tarot reading from me, click the link in the description field below. I can get you my, my pricing and stuff. If you would like to be a guest on the Black Magic Talk, or if you'd like to be on Pro Wrestling Talk, you can DM me on X. My X is in the description field for both Black Magic Talk and for Curt Hennig podcast. Go ahead and hit those in the description field and DM me, and feel free to ask if you'd like to be a guest. If there's anything else, concerns, or if you would like to just give feedback, you can always DM us on X and so on. Just want to mention my Cash App and my PayPal account are in the description field. If you can give to the show, great. If not, please enjoy the show. That's what we are mainly here for, just for your entertainment purposes only. And again, I will reiterate that the AI outro song is AI generated. That is for everyone, for Rumble and for YouTube. Also, there could be an AI intro song. Just want to let you know that if there's ever an intro song, it is AI generated on YouTube. I created a couple of songs here and there, a couple of country songs I think that Curt would like. So I hope you check those out. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect or Curt Hennig. Nobody.
I remember those nights in the TV glow, watching you a hero in the ring. With every match, you'd steal the show, making us believe impossible things. Golden locks in a confident stride, wrestling through battles both big and small. With a perfect plex, you turned the tide. Mr. Perfect, you had it all. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Behind the glitz and all the fame was a man with strength and grace. Though we never knew your name, you left a mark time can't erase. I can still hear that entrance theme echoing through arenas and TV screens. A legend in his prime and dream. You remain in all our scenes. Oh, on the nights when stars glow bright, I think of you and your fearless fight. Gone too soon, but still inside. Mr. Perfect, you are a guiding light. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Behind the glitz and all the fame was a man with strength and grace. Though we never knew your name, you left a mark time can't erase. Though we never knew your name, you left a perfect